Okay, this is Karen Aram on behalf of the Urbana, Champaign, Illinois Friends for Geese for UPTV. I'm filming a protest here against the slaughter that took place just the other day, a geese slaughter of over 100 geese and goslings, babies, at Beringer Commons.
Your homeowner association gets a permit from Ben Williams. It's a federal permit. You already have done that, but you didn't addle the eggs this year because they said it wasn't necessary because you were going to kill them. So it's either or in this situation. Do you want to reduce the population? Do you want someone to get a machine that sweeps up all? You can buy a machine that tows behind your mower tractor, sweeps up all the goose poop on the grass in the lawn. It's called tow and collect. And then you take that, make a compost pile.
Well, we're not going to do that.
It's good for your farm. Right. You don't want to inconvenience yourself, but you want to kill the geese.
We want to get rid of the geese. We have an over. It's not that we dislike geese. We have an abundance of them.
That's what I just told you how you do population control.
I understand that. I agree with that.
If you take birth control pills, mind you, or if you wear a condom, you're trying to control population. We're giving you a non-lethal way to do that. If people did contraception, they wouldn't do abortions. If they had access and understood and were educated, then there wouldn't be any lethal action.
So let me understand. What you're protesting against is the slaughter of the
unnecessary slaughter
of the geese.
Because you could have controlled the birth.
Do it earlier.
Yes.
Through the eggs.
But by non-lethal means. Your organization said they did that, but they weren't telling you the truth.
Well, we did do it one year.
You have to do it every year. And you have to do all the nests. And you have to be...
Well, you do miss all...
Okay.
You can't get all the
No,
nests.
you cannot. And you may come a day late and the egg goes to the bottom and you can't addle it or oil it because then it could be hatchable.
So you're... What you're saying is, if I understand it correctly, is
yeah.
Is that you would want the eggs, I guess you call it addle?
Yes, or replacement. Addle means you shake it and that breaks up the membrane around the embryo.
But oiling is different than that.
Oiling closes off the oxygen getting into the egg.
So you're for that, rather than embryo
right, because those embryo are so young, they're just a few cells. And it's not cruel and it's not inhumane. And so we offer the service. People in this community will do it. Ben Williams and the IDNR and USA come in and they butcher them rather than. And actually, it's not a charity harvest, as they may tell you, because that.
Well, to me,
goose are.
I'll agree with you. It seems to me like a terrible waste of effort to come in and slaughter, and the expense to that would be much simpler to addle the eggs. Okay.
Yes,
so
this organization will do the service free and offer just for a donation.
Okay.
And
now, what service?
Urbana Park District cost them to kill 175 geese a year ago, June 22nd. Cost them $5,800. Is it worth it? The tow and collect you could use every year and get the poop up. So we're saying, if you considered all the alternatives, you might not be so adamant about killing geese. But I understand why you don't like the poop.
I agree with you on what you're saying. I don't disagree.
But if you could rake leaves, your organization could pay someone to use the sweeper on the sidewalks and dump it in the compost.
No,
we're
not that far
to
apart.
spray.
The easier solution to it is to oil or addle the eggs.
Because in springtime, so you do that in springtime when they're laying.
Right.
And then when they molt, they can't fly, so you're going to see more geese.
Right.
But they're not going to stay there. And part of your geese are migratory geese. And the goose population migrating from Canada to southern Illinois is lower than it's ever been. So you're not having a rise in population. Actually, there's a
well,
then the
I
other
wouldn't say there's not a rise. I would say they're just staying up north.
No, they are.
Yes, they're staying here rather than
not going south.
Not
Not
south.
necessarily less
So
geese. You got geese
there's
staying
less
here.
geese total migrating to this area and to the south. But the problem also is nobody counts them, so you don't really know.
heartburn with this whole thing. You're you don't disagree that there's too many geese and we've got to moderate the geese.
I think population control, look, it's a conflict in an urban area. If you didn't have the houses here and there were ponds, the geese would be here and they'd be happy. And you would be happy living wherever you were. But when you encroach onto, and then you build a pond that attracts them, you should expect them to show up.
Any ponds here to begin with.
Right, you built them. So that's why you live where the geese want to be.
Yeah.
They fly over and they say, oh, look, all that grass. This is what they eat. They love Kentucky bluegrass. They don't, you know, and so they're vegetarians. They trim your grass, but then they leave their droppings. So it's just, it seems like...
So you're saying the better way to manage them is to get them at the beginning.
Yeah, prevent the population growth, because they can lay 5 to 7 eggs each hen. But the other thing is, you have to look at it the big way. USDA will push their service on. In New Jersey, they have a lot of geese because they have estuaries.
Right.
You know, water, fresh rivers and salt water coming in.
Well, we're not so
in
far
just
apart.
one bay in New Jersey, you know how much they paid the USDA to kill their geese for 3 years? They had a contract? $9.3 million from those communities on that bay.
Well, listen,
that's a lot of money.
Okay, let me wrap this up. I've got work I got to do.
I hope
we're not so far apart.
Yeah.
Okay. I agree. I like geese, okay?
Yeah.
I just don't like the number of geese that are here.
And I think you can understand our argument then. Because
I understand your argument. I think it's really a big waste of government resources to spend $5,000 or $6,000 when you can do something in the spring that's less. I don't understand why.
And you don't cause all that suffering.
Yeah. So we're not that far apart.
That's good to
just
hear.
want you to know that.
So you should tell your...
Well, I will. My wife is the president of this association right here.
Oh, this is...
you know, the 12...
You're a Trimble.
No, Becky Crane is my wife.
Oh, okay.
But anyway, I agree. I would rather boil the eggs or addle the eggs than have them harvested. I think it's stupid to waste that kind of money and do that when you can operate your thing. Now, I don't know what...
Now, actually, lots of organizations, we train, the people who do this, train people how to do it.
Yeah.
You get a shield and you use, polyvinyl tubing and you make fencing and two people go in.
Why don't you do this? When is it, like probably March or April they start?
That's right. Okay. That's right. Nesting begins in March.
I'm all for doing that rather than, I think the harvesting is just a waste of resources. It's really done.
Right, because you have all these months they're pooping.
Yeah, I mean, why not get rid of the issue before it's an issue?
Correct.
You know, so we're on the same page there, okay?
I'm with you.
And like I said, my wife is the president of the association. Give us a call, like in February or March, and we'll get together and talk about the addling and the oil engines rather than the harvest. The harvest thing to me is shooting them. That just doesn't make good.
Well, and you had an unfortunate incident last October. Did you hear about it? That hunters came in from the north side, from county, with guns in October, mid-October, during the geese season. They had licenses to shoot geese, but it's illegal. You're in the city limits of Urbana.
That's crazy.
They shot them on lawns and in the ponds, and people witnessed it.
Yeah.
And they called the police, and the police didn't come and didn't do anything. But it's illegal to discharge a firearm within the city limits.
I agree. They should.
So I think for the safety of the residents, we should be investigated.
That's crazy shooting geese in a
When we investigated, they said the county sheriff deputy talked to the hunters outside and checked their
we're city here.
check their permit. Yes, you are. And it's also a federal crime to harm a geese or shoot them without a permit.
Right.
You can't throw the eggs in the pond or do anything like that because it's against federal law.
I'm all for doing the egg thing before things. It just makes common sense.
For goodness sakes, we'll be in touch with you.
So, I mean, we're not that far apart.
We'll be in touch. My name's Penny. You are?
Dale Crane, C-R-A-N-E.
Okay.
My wife is a president associate of the units, these 6 units here. And we have the whole 12. We get together like a couple times.
Okay, because it can be solved peacefully. It's just way,
how hard it is.
it can be solved peacefully.
I know, I agree with that. We're
Yeah.
not disagreeing. I think that's the best
Yeah,
way to do it.
and that's what we would like.
Yeah, I think it's smart. I'm all in on it.
Okay.
I think the shooting them and shucking them, so to speak, is stupid.
Yeah.
It's a waste of resources that we could
And do
use.
you want your little children to see this?
It's
slaughter?
traumatizing
They
to a
do
lot
it
of
in the middle
people.
of the night. That's why they do it in the middle of the night, because it's horrific. And take them to the slaughterhouse, and they don't get
how
eaten.
how do they?
They
kill
gas
them?
them.
Oh.
The problem is
Yeah.
geese hold their breath because they go
Yeah.
under the water and eat aquatic stuff.
Yeah, I'd really get
And
get
it
rid
takes
of
a
them before
long
the
time.
issue. So, yeah.
It's
We're not that far
after
apart.
radiators
I think we need to sit down and talk to people.
Yeah.
That's what
I
we're
think
doing
it's
here.
nice
It's
to
to
neighbors, and we'll be in touch again.
That's fine.
Mr. Crane, I'm glad you came out here.
Yeah, I live right there on the corner.
Yeah. It's a nice house.
Okay. All right. Hey, Ken, good luck today.
All right.
Susan, would you like to say a few words to the camera?
Yeah. For me, I connect what we're doing here, which is very local, small street, not a big crowd, with the global problem of catastrophic climate change. This is the local manifestation of catastrophic climate change. And what do I mean by that? I mean that everything about catastrophic climate change is just the refusal to investigate the policies, the practices, the benefits of coexistence. That's what climate change is asking us to become masters of, coexistence. That means we do not use this, humans are the first thing, and if they decide something's in their way, they get to kill it. No. That policy we have in terms of racism, in terms of economies, in terms of capitalism, etc., in terms of what's happening with Israel, everything. So what we're looking for is leadership on the local level that says, all right, there's overpopulation. Just look at Prospect. All right, now what do we do? If we think coexistence, then we have a whole different set of alternatives than just thinking killing and just thinking lying. The Park District, the Beringer Commons, they believe Ben Williams of the Illinois Department of Natural Resources, IDNR, who says this is a charity harvest. That's a hoax. There is no charity harvest. There's a charity hoax. Last year we called up every shelter in Illinois, and not a single one had received any of the geese meat. So it's also lying, and people have to lie because this policy is so abhorrent to most people. They have to do the killing in the middle of the night. Why? They say because they don't want people to get hurt. No, they don't want people to see what they're doing, to see that leadership is pushing in the direction of domination, to show us on a very small scale that domination rules here too. And we're not going to let that be. So when I'm out here, I'm a fighter against catastrophic climate change. I want children never would see this again. Never again would hear that because there's too many geese, what you do is you gas them in the middle of the night. So I hear so many people that are interested in fighting against racism. I'm fighting against racism. So many people interested in dealing economically. We're dealing economically here, this group. And I want us to understand that this is a local opportunity to get involved, stopping catastrophic climate change. And that's what I want us to see. And in this town, a huge amount of people hate this practice of killing the geese. Because every time it happens, there's an uproar in the media. Leadership has got to hear this uproar. They're not leaders if they cannot move us in the direction of coexistence. That's what I have to say.
Thank you. Thank you, Susan Parenti. Cindy, would you like to say a few words?
Well, let's see. Well, as far as Beringer Commons, as well as Urbana Park District, they were provided all the information to be fully aware of all of the nonviolent methods to prevent these inhumane killings. They had every opportunity, both of them, to cancel their contracts and make different decisions. And they seem to get angry when people protest, but if they are not ashamed of what they've done, you wouldn't think they wouldn't mind it being publicized.
Yeah.
There are just so many non-lethal methods that are successful, proven for decades, that are being ignored, and we're trying to look for people to help us help raise awareness in the community and the HOAs and the municipals, and if we oftentimes the primary thing that they pay attention to and don't ignore is publicity, exposing their poor decisions.
And your name is?
Cindy Adkins.
Okay. Hi. And your name?
Let's do an interview. Sorry, I didn't hear what you said.
Your name?
Name is Ilir Solejmani.
And I'm not going to ask you any questions. You just talk about why you're here and what you...
Well, I'm here to support a grassroots organizing campaign that was organized without me to protest the killing of geese here at Beringer Commons under pretty shady terms and conditions, just like we saw last year by the Urbana Park District. And I think that only by putting pressure on decision makers will we get them to change this pattern of behavior and institute more humane and peaceful and free relations with local wildlife.
And you are an animal activist, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm an animal rights activist, and I'm somewhat less active, but still active in the anti-war and labor movements as well.
Okay, good. Thank you.